Hello guys, so after I maxed out my Xilonen in the last video, I had the artifact set yet to farm, so I just did that. I cracked 10 fragile resin and I got these pieces. These are not the best pieces ever, but you know, it makes her functional. So now she's at 3459 defense with 159.6% energy recharge. I wish this number was a little bit higher, but it is what it is, right? I focused on the support Xilonen. I didn't touch on the DPS Xilonen, that's why I didn't level her normal attacks. I crowned her E and I have her ultimate on level 8. She's Constellation 0 obviously, and something to keep in mind is that I played her during the testing with her signature weapon, which makes her heal better, which is relevant with Furina for example, but also gives 25.6 elemental damage bonus to the whole team. So if you see some damage numbers that are a little bit high or something, this might have something to do with it. Keep that in mind. Something else to keep in mind is that we are on my second account, so I don't have all the units of the game, and actually the units are pretty limited, and I pulled her here just to play with my Neuvillette, my Wrio and my Navia primarily, but there was another character in here that I tested her with. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with the results, but more on that later. So without further ado, let's start right away with the Neuvillette teams and see how it went. For Neuvillette, I was really scratching my head on how to properly showcase the difference in damage between the OG team and the current team with Xilonen. Since there's like a lot of differences in terms of characters, it's not a one-to-one comparison. I think the best way to do it is just to showcase the OG damage, right? So this used to be the team that I played the most, and even in this team there's plenty of variants. You can replace Fischl with Lisa for the defense shred. You can add Furina with Jean instead of Kazuha. Like there's a lot of variations, right? But let's try this team as a baseline and see then the damage on the other team. So we start with this, swirl it, use Fischl, pillar, and we're getting 30. I saw 36 was the max, 36k, right? Another team I could quickly showcase before going to the Xilonen variant is this one. I started playing this when I got Furina on the account, and to be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of this team because Jean VV Shred can be a little bit clunky against certain forms of enemies. But also, you don't have a defensive option. My Neuvillette is C0. He doesn't have the C1 for the resistance to interruption and the damage boost from it. So yeah, it can be a little tricky to play against certain forms of content, aggressive enemies and so on. But let's still try it and see what we get, right? We did the swirl. We go with Fischl. And we're getting 45k, right? Alright, so let's add Xilonen to the team and basically combine her shred with Kazuha and have Furina buff our Neuvillette on top of that and making him a monster basically. Let's see what's the damage. Getting 63k, I saw. So yeah, I've seen people say that this is the best DPS team for Neuvillette nowadays, and I believe that. I don't even need to look into Kaxo or whatever. I tried it in Abyss, and the results was pretty impressive. I was hitting insane damage per tick with Neuvillette that I never had before. So yeah, this team is pretty OP. If you're a Neuvillette main, congratulations. You are winning, you keep on winning, yeah. Alright, so another character that I pulled Xilonen for is Navia. And my Navia, I used to play her with this team, which consists of Zhongli, Xiangling and Benan. So let's see the baseline damage that I used to have with this team. I'm gonna get rid of the trap name there, do this. Okay, so let's add Xilonen instead of Zhongli and see how it goes. 363. So the damage difference is pretty big, as you can see, thanks to the Geo Shred provided by Xilonen, but this doesn't tell the whole story. Doing my testing in Abyss, the fact that Xilonen has very low Geo application made Navia struggle to generate all 6 shrapnel during her combos, especially on the second and third shot if you do a third shot in your rotation. Was it that bad? Not really. I was still clearing with ease and displaying some pretty insane numbers thanks to that Geo Shred. Basically, if you can get up to 3 shrapnels, it's good enough in my opinion, and the Geo Shred offered plus the pyro damage bonus provided is good enough to have very good clear times. It's just worth noting that Xilonen won't fix some of Navia's problem, like when confronted to AoE scenarios or the tendency to have overkills, while other Geo units might help more in some cases. Basically, she won't be the ultimate best in slot teammate for Navia in every scenario, like we saw earlier with Neuvillette, and that's completely fine if you ask me. The other character I pulled Xilonen for was Risley, and I used to play him in a double pyro team with Shenhe. So I replaced Shenhe with Xilonen, but at first I was trying to do both crystallization to buff both elements, and it wasn't that great. I'll show you what I was trying to do. So applying cryo, then doing this, applying pyro, getting the pyro crystallized, and then going into Wrio. And as you can see, the shred uptime is a little bit low, but yeah, it felt a little bit awkward to play, so I decided to just straight up ignore the pyro crystallization and just go for the cryo one. So yeah, basically ignoring the pyro crystallization and just going for the cryo one. Something like this. And yeah, pretty fun to play. It's simpler, right? And pretty straightforward. But I don't know if this is better than the Shenhe version of the team. And I wasn't really that impressed. So I kept digging and I found actually the team that I enjoyed the most with Wrio and Xilonen. So what I did was, instead of having Xilonen replace Shenhe, why not playing Shenhe and Xilonen together? And here replace Bennett with Furina. And you have a pretty solid team here as like a freeze team that had really good results. You get the Icy Quills from Shenhe, you get the Cryo Shred from Xilonen, and you get the Elemental Damage boost and the damage on the side from Furina. And in Abyss, I was pretty happy with this team actually. It was pretty fun and I can recommend it. If for some reason you don't want to play this freeze team variant, you can always replace Furina with a cryo unit, someone like Rosaria or Kea for example, and go for a mono cryo team. This can also work, and I tested it in Abyss and it's fine, right? You get the again, the buffing capabilities for both Xilonen and Shenhe, and the cryo damage from either Kaya or Rosaria, and it's completely fine. The last character I tried Xilonen with on this account was actually Yoimiya. So what I did is I put Xilonen here instead of Zhongli, and I went into Abyss out of curiosity really. I didn't expect much, and I was pleasantly surprised because in terms of performance, it's crazy. Like I was hitting 150k on the 5th shot from Yoimiya normal attack combo, and I never hit that number ever on this account. So yeah, that's pretty impressive, and it's again thanks to the Pyro Shred that Xilonen offers, and also the damage boost from the set and the weapon that she offers to Yoimiya. So pretty impressive stuff. It's kind of similar to Neuvillette in a way where you're trading a defensive option for a more offensive one with that rest strat. The only issue is that, in my opinion, a shielder is way more important on Yoimiya than it is on Neuvillette, because with Neuvillette you can always kite and, you know, move away when you're doing damage. But if you interrupt the 5-hit combo from Yoimiya, it's a huge DPS loss. So this might be a situational team, but yeah, against content that is not super aggressive or played perfectly, this can be very, very good to play and offers a ton of damage. So there you have it. That's basically all the testing I did with Xilonen on this account, and the result is pretty clear. She is an excellent support unit. To be honest with you, I was about to make a pros and cons chapter in this video. She has so many pros that it would have been a completely unbalanced section. On the top of my head, the things that make her very strong are the long duration of the resistance shred, 15 seconds, the fact it works in multi-wave content without the need to do anything, the healing she provides, making her valuable in Wrio teams, her exploration skills, and so on. The list is actually very long. For the cons, she has a very weak geo application, and the other thing that was a bit annoying during my testing wasn't specific to her, but to her artifact set actually. Trying to provide that elemental damage buff to 2 different elements in the team might be super tricky in certain cases and end up making you lose resistance shred uptime. So, do I recommend her? Yes, I think it's pretty obvious that she is an excellent support that will have a positive impact on your account. I will still skip her on my main account because I'm not the biggest fan of the character design. But if you like her and decide to go for her, I don't think you will ever regret it. She's an OP support comparable to Kazuha levels of excellency, which by itself should tell you how valuable she is. The one question that many of you might ask themselves is, should I get her or skip to guarantee getting the Pyro Archon? Well, since Shaska was announced in the last drip marketing, and if you get Xilonen now, you might have enough primos to get Mavuka if she releases in 5.3. If you are really not sure about your primo situation and want to 100% guarantee the Pyro Archon no matter what, you can always skip Xilonen and get her on her rerun. Hopefully she reruns during the Natlan region, right? They're not gonna give her the Wrio treatment, right? Ah man, I'm here trying to give advices when I have no idea what Hoyo is going to do. Hell, I don't even know if they know what they're doing themselves. But yeah, you get my point. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye!